Love doesn't always follow the rules of money, status, or family. Sometimes, love appears in the most unexpected places and demands impossible choices. This is the story of Emily Walker. To the world, Emily had it all: a fiance who was rich, powerful, and admired by everyone. Michael, her fiance, was the kind of man who could walk into any room and command it. He promised Emily a life of luxury, security, and fame. But beneath the polished smile and the expensive suits was a man who loved control more than he loved her. Then came Jacob, a construction worker, honest, hard-working, with hands calloused by labor and a heart purer than gold. Emily met him by accident when her car broke down outside a construction site. While others would have walked past, Jacob didn't hesitate. He fixed her tire. But more than that, he spoke to her like she was just Emily, not a prize, not a trophy, just a person. She thought it was nothing, just a small act of kindness. But life has a way of weaving threads you cannot ignore. Days later, they crossed paths again at the community center where Jacob volunteered to help rebuild homes for the poor. Emily saw him laughing with children, helping the elderly, working without expectation of reward, and something inside her shifted. For the first time, she questioned whether the life of wealth she was heading toward was truly the life she wanted. The conflict tore at her heart. On one side, Michael, wealth, stability, her family's approval. On the other, Jacob, simple, real, and filled with a love that didn't need money to survive. Her parents pushed her toward Michael, reminding her of the future he promised. But at night, Emily's thoughts returned to Jacob's smile, his kindness, and the way he made her feel alive. Then came the breaking point. At a grand engagement party, in front of hundreds of guests, Michael raised his glass and declared, "To my future wife, who will learn that in my world, everything is mine." The crowd laughed, but Emily's heart froze. She realized, in that moment, she wasn't his partner. She was his possession. The very next day, she made her choice. She walked away from the mansion, from the wealth, from the life that had been planned for her. She found Jacob at the construction site, dust on his shirt, sweat on his brow, and with trembling words, she said, "I don't want riches. I want love. I choose you." But this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of whispers, judgment, and endless questions. People called her a fool, a dreamer, someone who threw away everything. Yet Emily stood firm, because what they couldn't understand was simple. She hadn't lost everything. She had found it. Months later, as she and Jacob stood in front of the small home they had built together, Emily finally understood what real wealth meant. It wasn't diamonds or silk. It wasn't champagne or fancy cars. Real wealth was love, laughter, and freedom. And though the world had doubted her, she had no regrets. Because sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is walk away from the life that looks perfect to find the love that is.